Breaking news. Earl Thomas has been released by the Baltimore Ravens and they're labeling this conduct detrimental to the team. Basically, Earl Thomas got into a fight with one of his former players and because of a blown coverage and started punching the player in the face. And when I first heard about this, I thought they was punching while they had their helmets on. The player took his helmet off. Earl Thomas walks over. I guess he lost his cool and punches assume. Okay, he just started immediately punching this player because of a blown coverage. They sent them home, and then later on, last night they released Earl Thomas. So when I was watching the video and reading the statement from the Ravens earlier this morning, I started saying to myself, Earl Thomas, that name sounds familiar. Isn't Earl Thomas the same individual this year where he got caught at a motel with a bunch of women in bed along with his brother? Obviously, you know what happened there. His wife tracked him from his smartphone. He wakes up and Earl Thomas' wife is pointing a gun at him. This is the same guy that happened to. And you would think an individual such as Earl Thomas would keep that in the back of his mind, because a lot of teams would have just let that player go. But since his name is Earl Thomas, he should have checked himself and said, look, I can't get myself involved in any more trouble. I'm already at the crossroads as far as staying with this team. All right? This team still continue to have faith in him. Why? Because Earl Thomas is still a talented player. All right? Earl Thomas was due to make $10 million this year. Okay? Which, if he would have stayed on the team, he would have gotten $20 million. $20 million in one season, folks. All right? Of $10 million of it is guaranteed money. The Baltimore Ravens want that $10 million. And they're saying they want their money back. Similar to what Antonio Brown, I call this the Antonio Brown epidemic, where if you give a lot of money to these players start doing some crazy wild things and or say some crazy wild things or conduct detrimental to the team type of things. Now the teams want their money back. And this is going to be a unique case because, and I've been saying this on my older YouTube channels as well as my podcast, that NFL players, they're living in a fantasy. They want a contract similar to the NBA players. The NBA players control their destiny. They control the league. Okay, they control who's in the front office. They control what coach they want to play for, what type of players they want to play around them. They control just about everything, and the NFL players are jealous and envious of that. But the reason why the NBA players got that type of control has nothing to do with Chris Paul or LeBron James, okay? People seem to forget. Everyone has selective amnesia. The NBA did strike one year, and they had a shortened season. And in that same season, the San Antonio Spurs won the title in a shortened season. The owners did not want to go through another season like that, losing money and revenue. So that's why players have the voice and control of today in the NBA, right? Where they can pick and choose where they want to go, who they want to play for. what players they want around them, i.e. James Harden. All right? So, fall back into Earl Thomas situation. All right? Earl Thomas is now a free man. Anybody could sign Earl Thomas today. There has been rumor and speculation that the Dallas Cowboys, who were interested in Earl Thomas as far as trading for him when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, now they have an opportunity to get Earl Thomas. But you have to ask yourself, is Earl Thomas going to play for a 1-year deal for like $2 million or $5 million or maybe $3 million with incentives that could, promote it up to, if he go through all these incentives, he can go up to like making $10 million a year for the Dallas Cowboys. There's also rumors out there that suggest that there's a possibility that he could go back to the Seattle Seahawks, the same organization where he threw up his middle finger at the organization and the head coach. All right. So there's a possibility he could fall back there, in which he was more successful with the Seattle Seahawks than he was with the Baltimore Ravens. Not to say that he wasn't that great with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm just saying, if you compare the seasons with the Seattle Seahawks, where they went to the playoffs, won a Super Bowl, to when he landed with the Baltimore Ravens, where they're still in the playoffs, but they're still not getting that type of success he once had with the Seattle Seahawks. Okay? Now, other players have came forward, not in the defense of Earl Thomas, not in the position of we should keep Earl Thomas. Let's just cooler heads prevail before we start making moves and things of that nature. When players are not coming to the defense of Earl Thomas, players are coming forward to say he was a bad leader. Which, folks, he's a bad leader. You can't have a bad leader making bad mistakes off field. And before anybody say, okay, everybody makes mistakes. Okay, the mistakes Earl Thomas were making were very questionable leadership type of mistakes. He didn't necessarily take responsibility when he cheated on his wife and found laying in bed with a bunch of other naked women. He was really passé about that incident. Now, he's not going to press charges and things of that nature. That's fine and all right? But yet, this is the same guy that made that mistake on top of when he was with the Seattle Seahawks. He pointed a middle finger at Pete Carroll. And even those incidents with the Seattle Seahawks, the Baltimore Ravens did, they gave him a promotion. They gave him what he wanted. They knew what they were getting into when you climb in bed with an individual such as Earl Thomas. And they should be the least bit surprised on that incident. And still, the Baltimore Ravens are looking like they got egg on their face, going like, wow, we didn't know we was getting this type of player. Going around punching, players. He's not very, even though he's very emotional as a leader, he's not demonstrating that he is a leader. Folks, the people that get these guaranteed contracts, these $20 million contracts, yeah, talent has a lot to do with it. Having a successful track record has a lot to do with it. But the reason why these organizations give these players these huge contracts is because what they can bring to the team. Because the team is looking up to that player. That player rises everyone to the top as far as success. All right? Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got Tom Brady. Not because Tom Brady is so athletic and his talent is off the chart. I'm not saying Tom Brady's not talented, but they didn't get him for that. They got him for his track record and his leadership quality to prevail the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the promised land. Similar to what the Baltimore Ravens thought they were getting with Earl Thomas. Now, when you got a quarterback similar to what the Baltimore Ravens have, they're looking at it like, you know what? We should focus more on the offense, more so on the defense. The defense is getting us there, but they're not getting us over the top. This quarterback we got is phenomenal. If we put a lot of weapons around him, who knows? And I think those are the two reasons why Earl Thomas is no longer with the Baltimore Ravens. One, they just needed a reason to get rid of him, which is the incident with him fighting the player on scrimmage. And two, they got a whole new strategy on how to get to the next level. They got a phenomenal quarterback there. They're going to put talented pieces around that player, and they're going to be offensive-driven heavy. They're just changing their thoughts and ideas on how to get to the promised land. They're not spending a fortune of money on the defensive side of things. Now they see, look, we got a phenomenal quarterback at our disposal who's credible athletic, and we only have a short window with his athletic ability and his talent. So let's go ahead and start putting pieces around it while we have this short window. We may sneak around and get a Super Bowl win because of it. So that's what's happening to Earl Thomas. And I said earlier in the video, the people are thinking the Cowboys. Well, I don't understand, why would the Cowboys take Earl Thomas? If you're taking Earl Thomas for, that reason, you're not going to take him for leadership or anything like that. You're strictly taking Earl Thomas because what he can bring to the field. And I think they already got a decent defense. And not to say, I'm not saying, look, I'm not tripping. If they sign Earl Thomas, they go from a decent defense to an incredible defense, all right? A more ferocious type of defense, But is Earl Thomas the key to them going into the postseason? No, I feel like they're going to go to the postseason with or without Earl Thomas. But if they want to sign him, that's a great piece, okay? Now, when you talk about I feel like he's better off going back to Seattle, even though the Seattle Seahawks already lost two of their first-round draft picks to the safety that they picked up from the Jets. I keep forgetting his name. I don't want to say, I butcher names on a regular. But basically, they could get him, Earl Thomas, along with that safety, and it's just like the Legion, a boom all over again. Okay, 2.0. All right, but to me, those are two of the landing spots. I see him, but I also see him, elsewhere. Okay, but I feel like by Thursday, he's already signed to a new team. He's not going to be on the streets much longer. Okay, now that's all I got, guys. I know there's a lot of women who are subscribed to this channel, and I know a lot of women are not. Sports isn't the number one thing why they subscribe to this channel. I will have more content for you guys. I still haven't uploaded the Mike and Mike video. I'm going to try to do it sometime this week. Your boy's mad busy. I had something else I wanted to talk about. I guess I got to push that to the back burner. It's your boy. I'm out of here. Deuces.